The year is 1945. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, has finally ended. The world breathes a collective sigh of relief. Yet from the ashes of this global conflict rises a new struggle, one that will shape the destiny of nations for nearly half a century. This is the story of the Cold War, a geopolitical standoff between two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. It was a war fought not on open battlefields but in the shadows, a war of ideology, espionage, and the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. The Cold War was a multifaceted conflict, its roots tangled in a complex web of historical events, ideological clashes, and political ambitions. To understand this era of global tension, we must first delve into the factors that set the stage for this protracted struggle. Why did these two allies, united against a common enemy in World War II, become such bitter rivals? The answer lies in a potent mix of pre-existing tensions and the divergent paths these nations chose to take in the aftermath of the war. Understanding the Cold War is not simply an academic exercise. Its legacy continues to shape international relations today. The conflicts we see unfolding in various parts of the world, the struggle for global power and influence, all echo the dynamics of this era. By understanding the causes of the Cold War, we gain valuable insights into the complexities of our world today. The seeds of mistrust between the United States and the Soviet Union were sown long before the outbreak of World War II. The Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, which led to the establishment of a communist state in Russia, was met with suspicion and hostility by the capitalist West. The U.S., fearing the spread of communism, even sent troops to Russia during the Civil War that followed the revolution, further deepening the divide. The interwar period saw little improvement in relations. The Soviet Union, isolated and distrustful of the West, felt threatened by the capitalist world. The West, in turn, viewed the communist ideology and the Soviet Union's ambitions with deep suspicion. This mutual distrust created a fertile ground for conflict, waiting for the right catalyst to ignite it. The signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact in 1939 further exacerbated tensions. This non-aggression pact between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, which included a secret protocol for dividing Eastern Europe, shocked and angered the West. It was seen as a betrayal of trust and confirmed their suspicions about Soviet ambitions. While the alliance between the U.S., Great Britain and the Soviet Union during World War II offered a brief respite from this animosity, the underlying tensions remained, simmering beneath the surface. The alliance was one born out of necessity, a marriage of convenience to defeat a common enemy, Nazi Germany. With the defeat of Hitler's regime, the cracks in this fragile alliance began to resurface, paving the way for the Cold War to begin. The end of World War II left a void in global power, with the United States and the Soviet Union emerging as the two dominant superpowers. However, their wartime alliance quickly crumbled, replaced by a deep ideological divide and a struggle for global dominance. At the heart of this conflict lay two fundamentally opposed systems of governance: communism and capitalism. The United States, advocating for democracy and capitalism, sought to promote free markets, individual liberties, and democratic elections worldwide. The Soviet Union, on the other hand, championed communism, a system that emphasized state control over the means of production, with the goal of achieving economic equality. These drastically different ideologies created a fundamental clash of values and visions for the future. This ideological conflict was further intensified by the mutual distrust and suspicion that had festered between the two nations for decades. The U.S., fearing the spread of communism and its potential threat to democratic values, viewed the Soviet Union as an expansionist power bent on world domination. The Soviet Union, still bearing the scars of repeated invasions from the West, saw the United States as a capitalist aggressor seeking to undermine its socialist experiment. This atmosphere of suspicion and paranoia permeated every aspect of the relationship between the two superpowers, making cooperation and compromise nearly impossible. It was in this volatile environment that the Cold War took root, setting the stage for decades of geopolitical rivalry and brinkmanship. As the Soviet Union expanded its influence across Eastern Europe, the United States responded with a policy of containment. This strategy aimed to prevent the spread of communism by supporting countries resisting Soviet control. It was a tense period marked by mutual suspicion and a series of geopolitical chess moves. The Cold War was not just a battle of ideologies but also a series of proxy wars. From Korea to Vietnam, these conflicts saw superpowers supporting opposing sides to extend their influence. Psychological warfare also played a crucial role, with both the US and the Soviet Union using propaganda to sway public opinion and undermine each other's regimes. Even after the Cold War officially ended, its impact lingered. The world had been reshaped by decades of tension, competition, and conflict. Former allies and adversaries had to navigate a new global landscape, and the legacy of the Cold War continued to influence international relations, politics, and society.